your tourniquet? Where's your tourniquet?
On my belt. On my belt.
So you just heard the moments right after an Albuquerque police officer shot and injured another officer. This happened back in October during a domestic violence call in southeast Albuquerque. Police also shot and killed a man they say pointed a gun at them. We showed you that video just about a week ago, but we still had a lot of questions about exactly what went wrong. So Cassie Foote talked to an expert who is not connected to the case just to sort of get an outside perspective. So Cassie, what did he say he sees in those videos?
Well, this shooting is already being reviewed by the multi-agency task force, and prosecutors will also take a look at their findings. But I talked with a forensic investigator who consults on cases nationwide. After watching the body cam footage, he says there are a few areas of concern.
Based on what I'm seeing, I see problems, issues with both the shooting officer and the officer that got shot.
Dr. Ron Martinelli is a retired police detective and forensic expert. We asked him what went wrong when an Albuquerque police officer shot another officer. It happened during a domestic violence call in mid-October. Investigators say officers Jeff Schwartzel, Rihanna Torres, and Vanessa Zuniga were responding to a home in southeast Albuquerque when the suspect came toward them with a gun.
Do not move anyway. Force will be used against you. You want to run?
Police shot and killed 41-year-old Matthew Sanchez. But that's when Officer Schwartzel was also shot.
Ow! 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 Ow!
Investigators say the bullet likely came from Officer Torres. This is part of her body cam footage Martinelli reviewed for us. He says he sees a problem here. When Officer Schwartzel steps forward, he's on the left side of the screen. He also looked at that moment from Officer Zuniga's camera.
They need to be yelling at the officer that steps into the line of fire, hey, you're in the line of fire.
Martinelli says in high-stress situations like this, adrenaline can take over, and Torres may have had tunnel vision. That's how officers get shot. So the officer that actually moved in front, that was a definite mistake. They need to stay, somewhat in a line with each other. Other issues he sees in this incident, Schwartzel moving toward the threat, and the light from the guns creating a silhouette around Schwartzel, again, making him harder to see.
The other problem that you have here is that you had neither, for the three officers, you had neither cover or concealment. So remember, concealment is something that can hide you but won't stop a bullet. Cover is something that can hide you but can also stop a bullet. So these officers had none of that available to them.
Martinelli says for most officers in these situations, training never fully kicks in because generally they don't get enough of it. And if they don't have to use those skills, they lose those skills.
That's the one where the officers get into the most trouble, one way or another. It's something that they don't do very often. And when they do it, there's a tremendous amount of risk associated with it. In this case, it's kind of a life or death thing.
Police say Schwartzel will recover from his injury. As of last week, those three officers were not back to work yet.